Alright, hey guys. I just kind of wanted to update you guys on what's been happening with the blog and then just a little bit of what's been happening with myself. Basically, last week I took a kind of like a break from the blog. I'm never really one to like conform to people hating or, do as people say, but there's a limit and I hit my limit. Basically, I kind of felt like it was a little bit of my fault. In the beginning, I had this idea for an organization, kind of like helping out the more feminine gays. Just kind of telling people that it's not our fault why, you don't have your rights. Because we only have our personal selves to blame why we don't have our own things. And I told this to a kid the other day, don't expect somebody to make your own bed. Don't expect somebody else to ruin your bed. Don't tell me that I'm keeping you from your rights because you're not doing anything to help that either. So basically I had this idea to make like an organization or something similar to that kind of like empowers like the feminine, gay youth. I had a few people on board and I was really excited to like start doing it and start filtering through ideas and stuff. But eventually I think it just kind of got lost and I didn't feel very motivated by it anymore because Ricky, my best friend, who is the founder, my co-admin, he shot this idea at me that was basically like, I want to make this blog, that kind of breaks the stereotype of what people think is the average gay. And I immediately hopped on board. I thought it was a great idea, and I secretly wanted to see where it would go because I've never really been, like, internet famous before, and so I really wanted to see, like, if I could possibly make that happen. Well, basically, it started off really, really amateurish. We started off with this, I don't even want to call it horrible, but it was still very funny. Just this template, just this regular Google Rainbow. We started posting our own posts and eventually it really took off, and within a month we got 400 followers and it was just really awesome. Problems of a Gay Kid shut down and he forwarded our link to all of his followers. And we went from 400 one night to 1,200 the next day. That was when we first experienced, like, our first, like, open, direct hate. I kind of feel like we were setting ourselves up for it, and it just kind of seemed like, oh, these people are hating us, let's just not give a shit. Because it's our blog, it's our way, who's gonna care? Like, we just kept going, and eventually we hit 2,000 followers, and I said, you know what, I think we need to take a step up. I think we need to stop being so amateurish posting. I decided that I would create my own template, and it looked really nice, it looked really professional, and I shot it to Rick, and he basically was like, yeah, I love it, let's do it. So we posted the new template, and, within another couple weeks, we gained another 1,000 followers. They say that for every hate comment, you burn down 1,000 compliments. At first, I figured that wasn't very true, and I figured, like, oh, it's whatever. Like I said, I just won't give a shit. But eventually, it started really getting to us, and we actually started getting threats, and we actually started getting, like, forwards, like, hey, don't go to this blog because they suck. I hate it. This, that. I understand where people are coming from. I understand our posts are questionable. There are just things in life that you cannot sit there and say, I don't like that, you need to change. Because it's really worthless. You can't tell me to change when I have 3,000 people waiting for my next move. You cannot tell Lady Gaga to change when she's in the middle of performing. Because the only thing she's gonna change is her outfit. What I have been doing lately is I've been trying to, like, really channel out the hate and really take the compliments that I do get to heart. And I mean, for the most part, it was working, but eventually I suddenly felt this really lonely, just this lonely feeling, like people were no longer really looking at our blog. In the beginning, I was very motivated and I was very passionate about it, and I loved contributing and I loved posting my own things. But after 1,500 followers, it just seemed like I was kind of working for my followers, and I was kind of like, you know, not really volunteering, but working without pay is, I mean, to me, there's a huge difference. And that's really what I felt like. I didn't really feel passionate about it. I felt like I really had to actually make the extra move to get people to actually become interested. You know, I had to post 12 times a day. Hey, submit so we can, get more posts in for you guys. Like, oh, is that the best you can do? Submit more. And I just felt like people just weren't giving a shit and weren't paying attention. And I started feeling very like our blog was a failure. And oh, there's a bumblebee outside my window. And it was really like, it was hard for me. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, out of literally nowhere, all of a sudden, probably like 10 people just started spamming our blog with just pure hate. And it wasn't even like reasonable hate. It was like, I don't even know how to fucking describe it. It was basically like, your posts are stupid, but I like them. What? I hate you, but I love, and I mean, like, okay, that's cool. We have a love-hate relationship. I have that with my family. But basically, it was just really unreasonable, and it was just very stupid things, but I just decided I needed my own break. Eventually, it got to the point where I finally posted that I was taking a break. I'm not 100% positive that I really want to go back. I am not 100% positive that I still want to admin and moderate Not Your Typical Gay, because I feel like people do not understand why we created the blog. We're not trying to say this is what the norm is and this is what we want it to be. We're just saying, you personally, say I think that, and this is really my personal shit, so I don't give a shit if you hate me or not, but this is my own view. I personally think guys in their underwear at Pride is bullshit. I don't want to be represented by a man waving his dick in my fucking face. I don't want to be represented in a fucking vote by a guy who's waving his dick in my face. And I want to be represented by drag queens. I want to be represented by transsexuals. I want to be represented by openly but safe gay communities. I don't want to be represented as a promiscuous bitch. I personally think it's fucking stupid how we complain about being promiscuous, but then we go walking around in Pride and at clubs in our underwear. No! Don't do that. I think it's fucking stupid. That is what I think. And somebody is going to relate to that. And that is what I would post. Now, if I thought, yes, I think it's amazing that guys do that. If I thought the complete opposite, I would still post that because somebody's going to relate to it. It's my personal thing of what I think a typical gay is. I think a typical gay is a blonde, tan, blue-eyed, faux-hawked, tongue-pierced bimbo. That's what I think a typical gay is. And I personally want to break that stereotype of myself. I don't want to feel like, I'm being damaged, like, mentally by some other person. I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel open to them. And so the blog is even for me. That was just our whole entire point, and eventually it just got so stupid, and people were just being so unreasonable with it and just not getting it at all, that I just basically called it quits. And I mean, like I said, I don't know if I'll be coming back. I know the other admin, Ricky still runs the blog, like, happily, I guess. I don't know if he's still passionate. That's his own. I tried getting people back into it. I tried getting myself back into it, and I felt like just people were not giving a shit. I opened up, a new template that I spent hours working on. I opened up a Twitter, which, I mean, I didn't spend a whole time working on, but it's a really hard thing to try to branch out, and you really need to know how to do it. And I know how to do it. but I'm just not as passionate about it anymore just because I feel like people don't give a shit. Another reason why I decided to kind of call it quits was because I recently further came out as transsexual, and I had a really hard time this past weekend. I was home alone. I just had a lot of time to think. I really didn't want to have to deal with a bunch of hating people as I was going through kind of like a midlife like crisis or a metamorphosis, if you will. I just didn't want to deal with that bullshit. I am a human and I have changes that I need to make in myself to make myself feel happier. Having other people tell me to change will not make me happier. At this point, I don't know where the blog is going to go. We have 3,000 followers, above 3,000 followers. I mean, I know that our followers are very loyal to us, but at the same time, I feel like they're only loyal to us when they benefit. I want our followers to feel like a family, to feel all accepting, to feel like we can just all talk to each other without, looking each other up and down or thinking, oh, this person isn't right because he wants, a vagina, or this person isn't right because he tans too much, or, stuff like that. I don't want that to be what our blog is about. I don't want there to be diversity. And I feel incredibly diverse in my own fucking blog. That's really all I have to say. I will put in another video basically describing what my experience was with the coming out with being transsexual. I'll just basically tell you about that and update you on that. For now, I guess I am going to have to go because my family's coming home and I don't really want to be screaming at my camera. I will see you all later.